Uh, it'll be forwarded to you.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So it's you know, if it's a good performance, then you can always watch it again later, something like that. Yeah. All right. So I make it to. All right.
Robert, what's the title of our meeting today?
Well, it's a science roundtable.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just to point out another thing, you know, bearing in mind there must be a number of platforms. If you just hold on. Nope. There's actually should be a way that you don't actually need to physically put your hand up.
No, you don't. If you look at the bottom, the word
Reactions. Reactions.
Well, all I've got is clapping and a thumbs up for
Well,
reactions. Yeah.
The hand, other people say, is to indicate you want to speak.
All right. All
Well,
right.
it could be used for that.
Well, it could be used. Okay, we can use that because it's, you know, it's a little bit too much like a school. All right. So I think we should really get into it as quickly as we can. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
aren't there two more people coming?
The
new lady, Monica.
Yeah, well, it's strange because I sent her 2 emails and she hasn't opened them. So I don't know, maybe she's lost interest. Yeah. But, well, we'll record it so that they're free to catch up with it later. Yeah?
Yes, yes, because there's one more man by my reckoning. Yep.
Right. Okay, so first of all, we'll welcome the members. Good to see you all back. Good to see that you've all survived the lockdown and everything else that come with that. So do you want to go quickly around just to say what sort of subjects you're interested in and what sort of things you like to talk about? Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Oh, sorry. Oh, do you want me to do it?
You nominate who you want to speak.
Yeah. Well, it just would, you know, anybody can just, the way that the system works is that if you talk, then you take over the meeting. So, okay, I'll start with myself. Like, I'm Robert, as you all know. I'm a retired chemical engineer. Chemistry I'm interested in. Astronomy I'm interested in. Biology I'm interested in a little bit. Maths, yeah. So I'm interested in a number of things.
That's good. That's good. Me, well, I'm Joan, and I palmed everything off onto him. You see, when I gave up, but nevertheless, you know, we're sort of still doing it a little bit together. Right, I'm madly interested in quantum physics, as you know. But I'm also getting awfully ancient now, and I have 2 hearing aids. So it sort of comes and goes, dependent on what else assails me in my ancient state, right? So you'll have to be very patient with me. I don't like being ancient, but I am getting that way. Yes, but otherwise, in my training as a speech therapist, I was simply doing anatomy, neurology, that sort of thing. Whereas before that, I wasn't a science person, I was an arts person. So late in life, I have suddenly become madly science. And I'm getting very turned on by Brian Cox and Jim Al-Khalili and a whole collection of other people. Oh, we've got another person joining us. I'll shut up.
No. Okay, welcome, Gordon.
Thank you.
We're just going through a process of introducing ourselves at the moment, right? Well, just for convenience, Susan, will you go next? It's just the way that the people are being displayed.
Yes, so I'm Sue, and I've really got no science background at all, much more into the arts, but I am very interested in biology and medicine, anything to do with medicine. So that's all I need to say, I think.
All right, that's great. Janet?
Yes, I'm a veterinary surgeon. I was with the Ministry of Agriculture, and I've always been interested in biology and pathology. So I took a keen interest in mad cow disease when it was around, and I was involved in the foot and mouth 20 years ago. And now I'm very interested in coronavirus, but it's come a bit too close to home, really.
Mhm. All right, thank you. Lisa?
Hi, yeah. I started my studies as an engineer, mechanical engineer, donkeys years ago. I don't work in engineering anymore. I don't work in anything to do with science anymore. But it's still a hobby, and I like very much astronomy and physics. I can do some of the maths, but I'm not really a pure mathematics person. I can do the maths if it seems to help me solve some kind of physical problem, then I can understand it. But abstract maths, pure maths, it's a bit beyond me. Yeah, I don't have anything that I absolutely don't want to study or look at. I'm pretty open-minded about all of it. Okay, thanks.
Good. Mike?
Hello, Mike. I'm Mike. I'm the treasurer of Newcastle U3A.
Oh, wrong mic. Right.
As an accountant, I can't do maths, but I can do sums.
Yeah, me too.
Especially if Excel gets it right. I run 4 groups in U3A. The only one which is running on Zoom at the moment is the Sunday lunch group, which is meeting every Sunday at 12:30. The other ones are Shakespeare, favourite films, and the music and drama on a Saturday. I do help Dorothy with Music for Pleasure, so my bent is on the arts, but I'm interested in science, if only to try and understand a bit of it. So I'm here, hopefully, to understand what you're going to talk about. But like Sue, quantum physics was way above my head, so I didn't last the course.
All right, thanks, Mike. The other Mike?
I'm Mike as well. The groups I go to tend to be IT and ukulele. I was trained as an organic chemist. When I went into industry, I went in on the analytical side. So basically looking at mixtures and deciding what was in the mixture and has the reaction finished, does it need to go further, etc. Since retiring, I've become interested in recording nature. So about 11, 12 years ago, we got a moth trap. And ever since then, we've recorded moths caught in our garden regularly, once, 2, 3 times a week. And I'm Northeast coordinator for the Garden Moth Scheme.
Right,
Oh,
good.
What?
Right, Gordon?
Hi.
What did you have in your garden?
A moth trap,
Mm,
M-O-T-H.
M-O-T-H, yep.
O-T,
M-O-T-H.
mouse.
Moth.
off.
Butterfly. Think butterfly.
Oh,
Yeah.
Butterflies at night.
Right.
thank you.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, Gordon, but
sorry.
can you all see there's a chat icon at the bottom of the screen? So you can type in questions there if you like.
Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh,
You've got to move the mouse down to, or the arrow down, and then you'll see some various things.
Right at the bottom.
The
I'm
menu.
going to be a real pain. Just carry on in spite of me.
All right, shall I go ahead and introduce myself?
Just please.
Well, I'm Gordon Schofield. I'm a mechanical engineer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right.
Have you found it?
Yes, I've found it now.
At the bottom of the screen, you've got to move the arrow or your mouse down to the bottom, and then you'll see the various icons coming up.
Well, I can. They're not coming up. They're there or they're not there. At the right-hand corner.
Right,
No, right at the bottom, all along the
across
bottom.
the bottom.
All along.
Can I just point out that the controls on a laptop are at the bottom, but on an iPad they tend to be at the top, or they are on our tablet.
This is a computer. Yes. Oh, I'm so stupid.
No, it's
So what is it going to look like? And I'll.
no, it'll just be like a chat bubble with CHAT underneath it.
CHAT underneath.
Chat.
Yeah.
Chat. Well, I'm sorry, but I can't see anything with chat underneath it. Unless it's the blurry bit.
There should be a black strip across the bottom of the screen, and it's in my one. It's got a number of things. It's got.
Your voice is a bit crackly, so I can't follow your voice too well.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I don't want to be a mess here. Just forget it.
All right, yeah.
Joan, can I just say, can you hear my voice? Can you
Yes,
hear my
your voice is great.
Right. Well, get your hand on your cursor, your little arrow, bring it down to the bottom of your screen where our photos are, our pictures are. Yes. And then down that should have participants, chat, share screen, record and reactions.
Yes, but it's all blurry. I can't see what the words are. I think I can see it, apart from not being able to read the words.
Right. Well, on my screen, it's the second left. It's a box with a little
Next to the green box.
I've got one circle without a plus and one circle with a plus.
Oh.
All right. Look, given that Susan's going to need to leave soon, or relatively soon,
yes.
we should crack on. We'll sort that out at the end. All right.
Yes, sure.
Right. Okay. So sorry, Gordon. Third time lucky.
All right.
Or fourth time lucky.
I'll try.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a mechanical engineer, so most of my science is very, very practical subjects that I'm interested in. I spent the last 34 years before I retired in East Africa. So I've lived in Nairobi, Mombasa, Rwanda, Kigali in Rwanda, and Bujumbura in Burundi. And then I spent the last 10 years back in Nairobi. But I run my own business back in Nairobi as a consulting engineer. So I was doing building services. So we were installing lifts, plumbing, air conditioning, and so on. So, but I'm generally interested in science. I think as somebody earlier said, quantum mechanics in some respects goes way above my head, so it's a bit beyond me. But practical science is interesting. And just before we started, I was just looking through. I mean, I read the Science Daily, Robert, that you've been sending me. So that's some very interesting articles in there. I think the subjects that I'm concerned about is one, climate change and the environmental protection. And of course, that brings you on to a lot of other things. I mean, we're gradually changing to various forms of power to try and get cleaner energy than we had before. So I'm obviously interested in any developments in that respect. I'm also a bit concerned about what we do with our waste and how at the moment we seem to, although we're so-called recycling, I suspect a lot of that recycling has just been tipped into tips and taken to other parts of the world to be piled up and put into landfills. So I'm concerned about that. And I was reading, there's a few articles up on Science Daily which led me into various enzymes that have been starting to break down the plastics. So So all my science, I'm generally interested, but is from a practical point of view.
Great, great.
Anyway, I've probably
Welcome.
spoken enough now. I'll let somebody else have a go.
Right. Okay. Number 3 is the date, the time, the structure, and the scope of future meetings. When we were having the quantum mechanics group, it was the second Friday of the month.
Right.
So it's really a question of, do we want to stay with the second Friday, or are you happy with the third Friday of the month and the time?
It suits me. Yeah, I'm perfectly happy either way. I'm
Happy with it.
retired,
Yeah,
so
me too.
I've got no commitments.
Mm.
Not many of us have got commitments outside of the house.
What about
Not
Susan?
now.
Sorry.
Not now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll take that as unanimous.
Yeah.
Anonymous?
Yeah.
Yes. So what
All
was
right.
that? The third. So we're talking about the third Friday then, right? So,
Yeah. We'll stick with the third Friday.
okay.
If there's a problem over the Christmas, that
Right.
well, if there, I don't know, there could
There's
be a
gonna be a
problem with the
at
Christmas. It's going to be quite a quiet Christmas at this end, but I'm just saying, if we want to bring it forward 1 week in December or in any other month as well, we can do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's it. So we can agree the actual. So in general terms, we'll call it the third Friday of the month. But we can, when it comes to various things, we can change them.
Sure. Yeah. Now it's okay. So this is a professional version of Zoom, which means I can have the meeting as long as I want.
Oh,
All right.
excellent,
So
yeah.
if I wanted 3 hours, we can have 3 hours.
Right.
I booked it for 2 hours, and then we'll just see what happens at the end of the 2 hours. If anybody can, they've got the stamina to stick around for the 2 hours, it might close us down, in which case I can start another one, or it'll just go on indefinitely. Right. So we've got that flexibility. Yeah. All right. So I'll book it for 2 hours in general, and then if we finish early, that's fine. And if we want extra time, we'll find out what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully a few more months, and we might be able to meet in person rather than do it through laptops.
All right. I think I'm a bit of a pessimist on this side, but I can't see it until at least the end of next year.
Oh no, I hope you're wrong there, Robert.
Well, so do I,
Next year.
but all right.
Pink Lane is out of action for quite a while.
Yeah. Now, okay. So basically, I've got a business partner, and we, the Zoom belongs to us. So that I'm not looking for a contribution, but Mike is desperately in short of money for the U3A account.
Right.
So if anybody wants to make a £3 donation to the U3A to fund Mike's Zoom activities, it would be a good thing.
All right, we can do that. How do we actually send the money? Can we just send it by check, or?
You get the newsletter each month. You'll find that the bank details are in the newsletter.
Right.
What about people that
It's not each month, it's only once a year.
Oh, once a year, £3.
It's a one-off contribution, and it from our point of view, it's just a one-off contribution, something to help us towards the cost of the license for U3A. That's all.
Yeah, so it needn't be £3.
It need not be. Some people paid more.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, what
that wasn't
you've
the
got to.
point. I did read about it in the newsletter, Mike, but I just didn't know how I physically send the money. Do we send it by check, or?
Well, do you do online banking?
Oh, I can do that then. Yeah.
So you should find the bank details there,
Right.
sort code and account code in the newsletter.
Okay. All right.
what
Okay.
about
Send me an email.
people who don't bank online?
Well, you could send a check.
Oh, you can do, yes. But the trouble is that Pink Lane's not being occupied at the moment, so okay. Well, Catherine's going in once a week but not to do anything other than try to keep it clean, should I
Right.
say.
John?
Can I send a check to Mike?
Yes, you can, John, yes.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. I don't know whether I've got your address, but never mind, that will be fine.
Well, I'll put a note down. I'll send you an email with it,
Yeah.
Joe.
Fine.
Right. Yeah, I'll just add that obviously, you know, Mike's crying himself to sleep at night because he's not getting any, you know,
As well.
meeting money.
As if,
And, you know, so if you can put him out of his misery, I'm sure it would be a good
Okay,
thing.
we'll do that.
Yeah.
Well, again,
be very helpful. Thank you for that.
well, if you send
Thank
me,
you for the advertising, Robert.
Right.
well, Mike, if you send me your address, and I mean, I don't want your bank details, but I can do the same. I can post you a check directly to you.
Right.
If you could,
And yes,
I've
Janet?
got Gordon's email, but I don't have yours, Gordon.
well, my email is it's my name, so it's Gordon Schofield, and it's Gordon's Gordon
Yeah.
Schofield SCH.
Yeah, I've got it on the screen.
Yeah.
All lowercase.
Yeah, all lowercase at gmail.com.
All right. No full stops in there.
No full stops.
Fine. Okay, I'll send you the address as well, Gordon. Not
Okay.
a problem.
Janet?
send it to me as well, please, Mike.
Okay. Janet. Oh, dear, oh dear.
Right.
Yep, not a problem.
Mike, you could actually, I don't know if you've got the chat facility on your
I
system.
could put it on there now if you want, but
Yeah, that might be easier. Just, yeah, to
you want
do
it on
that.
there now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't wait. It'll take ages.
Right. Okay. Now, I was just going to point out something for the future here. That those of you that have got the icons at the bottom of the screen, there's
Right.
something called share screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see that? Now I'm going to click on that. Right. And then you should have the whiteboard. So I can, you know,
Oh, yes.
I can type things in, I can draw things, I can do all sorts of, you know, clever things.
Brilliant.
That.
Oh,
All right.
excellent.
Oh,
Yeah, and then I'm going to try it again just to show you something else. So I can go to my screen, which is, I can come into this is my Gmail account, and then I'm on the round table, and then I can open up a link.
wow.
Oh,
Well, just wait on. Wait a minute. And then I can share like a video clip. I can share whatever I want. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, the words are not clear though, Robert. That's always the problem I find.
All right. Okay. Anyway, I'm just going,
Oh, yeah, it's
you know,
very clever.
through the capability because we'll use that later on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh. All right. Just having a look. Reactions, chat, participants, security. Yeah. So that's enough. You know. Right. So we'll just move on. You'll
So it's come up. So I've seen it. Mike Wallace.
Yeah, the number's been missed off the front. It should be 8 Moor Court. The number 8 Moor Court.
More close. And whereabouts that, Robert?
That-
It's just
Gosforth.
Gosford.
8 Moor Court, Westfield, Gosforth, NE34YD.
Any.
It's on the
If you click the chat button, then it'll. Yeah, you should be able to see it. If you click on chat on
Oh
the
yes, I've got it. It's come up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the number is missing from Moor Court. There's
Yeah.
52 blocks, flats in the block. It's number 8.
Right.
I think I typed it and somebody spoke, or it was when Robert was sharing screen,
Uh-huh.
the typing didn't actually continue.
Right.
That's okay.
Right.
Westfield.
You can get to me without a number anyway. Postman knows me. He's been here often enough.
Right. All right. Okay. I think I forwarded to you. There was a number of correspondences between Mo and various other U3A science leaders.
Around.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm all for the suggestions that we can have Mike Hollingsworth give his talk, and then there was like another person offering to give a talk, but we'll leave those over till next time because it's 25 past already.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll make
Now,
a comment there, Robert. A lot of people are asking for quite heavy fees when they give talks, even on Zoom. So it just needs to be a bit careful.
okay. Well, no, well, I know you're crying yourself to sleep at night, so I'm not going
It's
to
not
put
that,
any more
it's just,
financial pressure on you.
it's
So-
not U3A that stands it, it's the group.
Yeah. So no fees. We're not interested in payments. Yeah.
If
All
it's
right.
a U3A member, you shouldn't be paying anyway. It's a voluntary organization.
Right. Now, I think it came out of it, but this was something from Mo. There's an Onward Science. I'll say facility. I think it was in Salisbury. So it was something like what I was doing for the quantum mechanics, which
Right.
was like I would aggregate articles. And then what they do is they aggregate all sorts of different science articles, and then they produce a spreadsheet. And then you can click on an item in the spreadsheet, and then you can read the article. All right.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we've got that. Now, what I was going to say is that this Science Daily, I think, is very good, and I recommend that
Yeah.
you all subscribe to it. Yeah, so that you're getting, I guess, 10, 15 science articles a day.
Mhm.
Now, also, I mean, it is a problem, this Twitter business, you know, that like lots and lots of people have got useful things, but they're all on different platforms.
Right.
So for those that stick around, I'll show you something like on the Science is Marvelous or Science is Wonderful. It's like a Twitter feed, and then they'll do other things, but I cannot share those because they're on Twitter.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, again, I would strongly recommend that you all join Twitter and then go to this Science is Marvelous, Science is Wonderful, because, you know, you just get these little things. Sometimes it's a photograph, sometimes it's a little video clip or whatever, but yeah, they're really great things. And I'll show you some later, you know, but we need to press on.
The
Yeah.
trouble was that there was a president in America who seemed to be very keen on Twitter, and it's put me off Twitter, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm right off Twitter. What's the Science Daily?
I think I included it into the notes. It's just an aggregate of science articles or science research.
So if I just Google it, it'll come
No,
up.
no, I'll send you the link. I'll send you
Oh,
the link, and then
thank
you
you.
just need to, you know, subscribe to it. Yeah,
Right.
it doesn't
Yeah.
cost anything, but I mean, it's you know, like we're into in the area of like information overload. You know,
Yeah.
you're sort of getting this, getting that, getting,
Yeah.
you know, and it builds up. But sometimes, you know, you'll find, wow, this is a really interesting article. This is a really interesting article.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Robert, you've mentioned astronomy on a number of occasions, or several people have. I don't know if you're aware, but there is an astronomy Zoom group meeting.
Yeah. I missed the last one, but
and the last time the last meeting that I was at was from the Royal Astronomical Society, where one of their people was talking about the camera system on top of the rover that's going to Mars next 2 years' time.
all right.
Quite interesting.
Okay.
My phone's going. I just must get rid of it.
Right. Okay. So that's good. What was I going to say? There was yeah. Now any other business?
No, that's okay. Are you, Robert, just out of interest, and I'm just still trying to learn how to use Zoom, are you directing the camera back and forwards between the different people as we speak, or is it doing it automatically?
No, it's doing it automatically. I think if you go to, just hold on, it might be something. Okay, what happens is, it's going to be different, you see, for me, because I'm hosting the meeting.
Right.
But if you go to the top right-hand corner, you've got speaker view.
Right.
Can you see that? Now, you should have it so that, well, there should be speaker view and then like 1 bar, 2 bars, and then 3 bars or something like that. Yeah.
Right at the top.
Right in the top, it's top right-hand corner. Now, what that would do is if you click on the speaker view, what will happen is that the speaker will take up the whole of the screen. And then there's one which is like, I think it's like 9 dots. So it'll show a lot of people. And then the one that's speaking, there'll be a yellow strip around the outside.
Oh, there's gallery view. Yeah.
Yeah, gallery view. That's the one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I've now got 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8 people on the gallery view. Yeah. I thought there was more than that.
No.
No, that works quite well. Yes.
What's going on? Oh.
Yeah.
I think so, like a number of people have gone muted, but I think you need to unmute yourself, right? Because I've got you on Mike, I'm on you, and it's saying ask to unmute, right? Yeah.
No,
Lisa?
no, you have to allow us to unmute.
Yeah, okay. Well, I thought I'd set it up like that. I'm just checking now.
Okay. No, I'm okay now.
No, Mike. Yeah, Mike. The other Mike's gone like that. Okay.
We're both there.
Okay. So I mean, come on, it's a learning experience.
Yeah.
All right. So the upshot is, yeah. So it depends how you want to do this. You know. So you can. I like the speaker view. So when someone's giving a talk, it'll obviously go. I'd use the speaker view, but because there's only 8 of us. This gallery view, I think, is good.
Yeah.
Lisa, you need to unmute yourself.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Lisa, can you hear us?
Yep.
She's done it now.
She's done it now. Hello, Lisa?
Hi, I'm so sorry about that. Minor domestic crisis with issues. I've just finished my quarantine because I've had COVID. I got tested positive. So I've been at home for the last sort of 11 days, and today's my first day out. And I'm trying to do everything that needed doing in the last 2 weeks, all today, obviously. So I do apologise. I stopped taking minutes from the bit where we were organising, giving a £3 one-off donation, and Mike Wallace was going to coordinate that. Can you tell me if there's anything else I need to note after that I might have missed in the last 5 minutes, please?
No, I think we agree. We agreed that we're not going to pay any fees, and that we would take it off the table. These outside organisations giving talks to us for the moment. But I think we generally agreed it would be a good idea. Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them are free.
Right. And then there was it's called the Onward Science Group, which I think is in Salisbury. So they kind of aggregate science articles or science information, and then they share a spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet has the links to the science. Yeah.
And is that a U3A thing? Or
yes,
is it
that's
just
a U3A thing. Yeah.
And is that in the news? I mean, how can we find out, Robert? Is it in
No,
the...
no, that's not. It's down in Salisbury, so we'll need to make contact with them if we want to share it with them. Yeah, because
Okay.
yeah.
Sounds
So, but I
interesting.
mean, I think it's 25 minutes too. So I don't want to be rude, Gordon, but I think we'll need to crack on if Susan's going to leave it at
Right.
3.
Well, don't worry about me.
You know, it's just, you know, you'll ever end up, all you've got is like a business discussion and then you're leaving without any science, which would be a terrible thing. Yeah,
That's for the future.
right. Yeah, so
Yeah,
you
that's
know, we'll
good
just take
picture.
that off the table. Was there, oh, right. So there's any other business? Yeah. So
Oh,
has anybody got any points they would like to make?
No. So are you going to do any minutes of the meeting or notes or something afterwards, Robert? Or...
No, Lisa's taken the minutes. So,
Oh, right.
so we'll actually, we'll forward the minutes. There's a couple of points that I was going to make. One is that as far as I'm concerned, we've taken the quantum mechanics as far as we can take it.
does
Yeah.
that mean I can't do quantum mechanics anymore?
No. That means that if you want to talk about quantum mechanics,
good.
you're more than welcome to.
Fine.
But that's just the point is that, like, I've been aggregating all this information
I
about
know,
quantum
I know.
mechanics, and it's above my head, and I can keep on doing that. But I mean, I'd prefer to be doing other things. That's
Oh,
all. Yeah, but I mean, you know, when I come across interesting articles, in fact, there is one which I was going to talk about today, and which I will do, right? Yeah. You know, so that's that. Yeah. So, but I'm just saying that, you know, it's kind of like quantum mechanics is going to be one of the things that we do
Yeah.
rather than the main thing that we do. Yeah.
Excuse me, Robert. Mike Cook has just asked you to unmute him or allow him to unmute. There is a thing in the host that allows you to mute people, and at one point with Mo, she can't unmute people. Everybody has to do
I
it
don't
themselves.
understand because, yeah, okay.
It's done now.
It's done. Okay. I don't know why that happened because I didn't mute you, right? Maybe you muted yourself for some reason.
I muted myself because I was handing a cup around for another cup of coffee. But then
All right.
the host is stopping me from unmuting myself.
All right. Okay. Life's
which you-
tough in the fast lane.
Which you need to do with big meetings. You can't have everyone talking.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Now, there's one thing I was going to throw in here that there's a lot of brilliant engineering about, developments in engineering, that sort of thing. And I would like to sort of broaden our brief a little bit to include engineering. All right. If everybody's happy with that. You
Yeah.
see, the way that I would talk about it is this. It's like, you know, we all eat chocolate biscuits. And then they say, well, how do you make a chocolate biscuit? And you say, well, it's easy. You have a biscuit, you put chocolate on. And then I say, okay, but how do you make 10,000 chocolate biscuits a day? And then you need some pretty sophisticated, pretty clever engineering to do that. So if you...
Greg Wallace's program.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'll actually show you something.
Since chocolate, I'm told, is a non-Newtonian fluid.
It is. It is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What does
But
that mean?
no. But certainly there's if you go to YouTube, there's a whole. I think it's a group. It's called, you know, How Things Are Made, and then you'll see that, and it's quite amazing. You know, you can say, well, look, you can do that. But then you do this and you're doing it 10,000 times a day or 100,000 times a day. And then it's like, you know, it's being done and then say, well, that's going, you know, we slowed down the camera because it's actually doing it 100 times a second, which you wouldn't be able to see. All right. You know, how you put labels on bottles, things like that. You know, you think, well, you take it for granted, but doing it 1,000,000 times a day is another thing. So I'm just saying that I'd like to widen the discussion, you know, to the fact that if you come across an interest in one of these, you know, it would be acceptable to present it. Yeah.
And would that include big engineering, like moving bridges?
Exactly. Exactly. I
Okay.
mean, I saw a brilliant one
Mm,
on how they put up this huge bridge in France,
yeah.
you know, and it was kind of like as they were going further out into the gap, it was actually dragging the bridge onto the gap, you know, so
Yeah.
there was like special equipment which was actually moving the bridge further forward, and then it would slot into place, and then it would pick up. It was you know, a real feat of engineering. Yeah.
As our own Blinking Eye Bridge, that wonderful program when they moved the bridge in position, Monday, the 2nd of November, I think it was,
right.
however many years ago.
Right.
That is a magnificent film.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
I might watch it. Right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
got no objections?
No.
No, that's excellent.
Okay. So that's great.
Also, do we include the engineering of the very tiny as well?
Of course. Of
Mm.
course.
Mm.
Yeah. All right.
All
Yeah.
right.
There might be an overlap with the industrial history group, but they're not meeting at the moment, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
There's enough subjects to go around, isn't there?
I think
But
there is.
I think there is. There is. All right.
Definitely. Plus quantum physics.
Plus quantum physics as well,
Yes.
which is on a very small scale.
Well,
All right. So are we we'll open ourselves up for topics?
oh, topics.
No,
You've
I mean, are we finished with this, you know, the business, and we can move on onto the talks, or
You've gone very faint, Robert.
I'll just turn up the volume. Okay. Are we happy to start with the talks now?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So I'll start. All right. So now, does everybody know what photosynthesis is?
Yes.
Yes.
Vaguely, yes.
Can I, sorry to interrupt, can I ask, do you want the talks minuted or just the business part of the meeting?
No, I think just the business part, or you could just say Robert talked about this, Lisa talked about this, Mike talked about that. Yeah, because it's been
Yeah,
recorded,
you.
and you know, if anybody wants to go back, they can, you know, they can look at the recording. Yeah. All right. So as you know, the photosynthesis is like what drives all life on this planet. So what we're doing is we've got plants which can actually they're the opposite of us, right? So basically what the plant does is it takes carbon dioxide and water, and then it'll produce methane and oxygen. Yeah. And then it'll take the methane, join the methane to another methane, produce ethane, propane, butane, and so on and so on and so on. And then at the other end, we eat the plants, and then we burn the energy that comes from the plants. So in fact, what we're doing is taking the methane, adding the oxygen to it, and then producing the carbon dioxide in the water. And it goes round and round and round. Yeah. Now,
Oh,
yeah. Now, what do I do with that?
Who knows what you do with a massive mountain goat, Robert?
Well, that's a good
Not
point.
sure what the protocol is.
Yeah. I think it was interesting because it was all right. So you'll have to bear with me. Right. So what we're looking at is actually creatures that do photosynthesis. Yeah. Which is like one step further. All right. Now, can you all see this?
Yeah.
Looks like a river delta to me.
Uh-huh. So this is a, all right. So what we've got is there's a sea slug.
What?
It's a sea slug.
Yeah.
Can you see it or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
yeah,
So
sort
we've
of,
got this sea slug.
yeah.
What I'll do is it's just
The writing is not readable.
right. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll actually forward it to you,
That'll be great.
the link. So basically, right. So what we have is the first of these amazing photosynthetic animals is the sea slug, which effectively steals genes from the algae. So that makes up its diet. Yes? All right. Then we have this spotted salamander that, all right, is similar to the sea slug in that in order to partially photosynthetic, to be partially photosynthetic, it maintains a symbiotic relationship with the algae cells, right? Then we've got this, the oriental hornet or the Japanese hornet, yeah? In contrast to the sea slug and the spotted salamander, all right, it actually generates electricity using from the solar power. So it has a sun trap, and then it actually generates electricity, which is even better. Yeah. All right. So these are the first four. Yeah. And then what we have is right. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's called a leaf sheep, and this is the most fantastic of all of the bunch, as far as I'm concerned. Right. So it's a type of sea slug. Can you see the pictures?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the cutest. It's the cutest
That is
thing
so
you can.
cute.
Right. But it's just this very concept of the fact it's got the leafage on its back. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, so I guess what it's doing is it's capturing sunlight in its back, and then it's actually generating the methane, the process. So it's got its methane, and then it can make bigger and bigger molecules from the methane. Yeah.
How big are they, Robert?
I think they're about a centimeter. Yeah, very small, but you know, I just think they're great. Yeah?
Yes, I do.
They're very pretty, aren't they?
Yeah, they're
Beautiful.
brilliant.
Yeah. All right. So that's the first of the talks that I was going to give. I mean, I'm finding my way around, and I can see the difficulties here in actually, trying to present, like a page to you guys. Okay.
Yes, it's good the way you've done it.
Right. Now let's
good.
have a look. I'll stop share. Right. Now, there's something else I wanted to talk about in this age of the COVID virus. Yeah. So what the general consensus seems to be at the moment is the COVID is spread by an aerosol effect. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's not really being spread by droplets. Yeah. I.e. you cough or you sneeze. It's actually being spread by an aerosol. Yeah.
I thought an aerosol was droplets.
No, an aerosol smaller than droplets.
It's a size thing then, right?
Yeah.
Right, but I think it's inevitably there would be a transition and transition zone. Yeah. All right, so you can say, well, droplets, this is droplets and this is aerosol, and then you can say, where does it leave off, right? So what I wanted to talk about was that why would an aerosol stay in the air, whereas a droplet would come down, you know, drop to the ground very quickly, yeah? You say, because obviously gravity is working on the droplet, but it's also working on the aerosol. Yeah. And what I was going to talk about was the fact that you would have the air. Now, the molecules in air are traveling at about 2,000 miles an hour. So the droplet and the aerosol are being struck by molecules all the time. But obviously the aerosol is much smaller, and therefore the momentum effects are actually going to keep it up in the air. All right. Okay. Now, then what happened was I found an article which had been put out by the Center for Disease Control in the States. And there was like, it's a 20-page document on aerosols. All right. So we're going to go to that. And okay, so can you read that? So it's
Yes.
generation and behavior of airborne particles,
Right.
aerosols. Now it's quite a large article, but also, as you can see, so I will forward it to you if any of you are interested.
Yes,
But-
please.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
So I'm just going to come in here. You see, I think what happens is that we've got all sorts of defense mechanisms against, we can say, threats. You see, so for example, you've got hairs in your nose, which should stop certain things from getting into your airways. Then you've got filters there. And then I think you've got like little hairs in your lungs, which should take these things out. So we've got all sorts of protections, right? But obviously not against aerosols. Yeah. All right. Now let's have a look. Okay, can you all see this?
Yeah.
So what we're saying here is that if you've got a particle which is 10 micrometers, right? Yeah, then it would stay in the air for something like 8.2 minutes, right? Then you go down to 3 and it would stay in the air for 1.5 hours.
Excuse me, what is a micrometer?
It's a millionth of a meter.
Right.
Yeah. So you've got that effect, and then it kind of goes through a lot. I mean, yeah. But then also, right, you'll have to bear with me. There's also electrostatic effects coming into play. So if the aerosol has actually got a charge on it, it would all have the same charge, and therefore that actually spreads the particles further. All right? No. All right? Anyway,
Yes.
I will forward that.
Mm.
And then what I got was, yeah, let's have a look. Go. Right. Can you all see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was a Japanese simulation of what happens when we breathe. Yeah. All right. And I think what's coming out of this is that, you know, the safe distance is 20 feet, not 3 feet or 6 feet. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Okay, and I think, yeah, what they're finding, yeah, is that the lower the humidity,
Yeah.
right? So in fact, it's the drier air that helps the aerosol, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So I guess what happens is that if the air's dry, then the water will come out of the aerosol and make the droplets even smaller, which means that they're going to stay in the air even longer. Yeah. All right.
Does density come into this?
Not really. Not really. I think, yeah, it's basically gravity plus, you know, momentum, which is going to come into this.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Now, all right. You know, let us know when you're getting bored with me.
No,
But I found I'm going to change the subject radically, right? And this is something which is truly amazing. Yeah. Right. Toot, 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 toot. Right. So, but see, so can you see the photograph?
yes.
Yeah. So what we're saying is that biologists find a spectacular bird that's both male and female split down the middle.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gosh.
All right. So the various photographs looking at it. Yeah. So they're saying it's like a once in a lifetime experience. Yeah.
So has anyone dissected it to see what's inside?
Well, this is what I'm trying to find. I mean, it would be even more
Not dead
interesting.
yet.
yeah.
Poor bird. Wait till it dies at least.
Yeah. Okay, so it's saying that this strange phenomenon has also been reported among reptiles, butterflies, and crustaceans. Yeah.
Mm.
So this is so it's taken us to this crab, right? So it's a, you know, it's a recognized phenomenon, and I think it's just amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it's sort of, well, okay, I'm going to forward all of these articles to you, but it's kind of saying that
It's 15 hours.
Yeah. So I think they're calling it gynandromic, right? Some gynandromic zebra finches are able to sing a masculine song when they're around females, but it isn't true of their half sisters. Yeah. So
Half-siders, half-sisters.
yeah, yeah.
Gosh.
It's true of all half-siders. Yes. Sorry.
Mm.
All right. Right. Now, I'll just have a quick scan to see if there was anything else that I thought was really great. All right. Just bear with us. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the Science is Amazing, but the problem is that you need the Twitter account. Yeah. Can you all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, that's quite a nice presentation on the rotation of planets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, this is a rock that looks like an elephant.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And then this is Cannon Beer, right?
Yeah.
So it's going in batches of 5. So you see the lid's getting put on and then the lid's being sealed. Yeah. But that's the sort of thing that I was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, sometimes they'll throw up these things where somebody's, you know, amazingly lucky to be alive. Wow. Yeah. Did you catch that?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So that's an apple scoop, which is probably a pretty useful thing for, you know, some apple farmers. Well, all right.
Yep.
Okay. So that's enough. All right. So anyway, I'll forward all of those.
Right.
Maybe what I'll do is I'll send them to Lisa, and then Lisa can attach them to the minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
That was fascinating.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, you know, the way that I see the group going forward is that, you know, like if each one of us can just find one article or one item
Right.
that's, you know, that you've seen in the last month that you think's worth talking about. I mean, there's nothing, you know, like if you want to give a half-hour talk about something, you know, that's all well and good. But, you know, if you can 5 or 10 minutes and you can sort of say, well, yeah, you know, this is, you know, really interesting, or I find this really interesting. Yeah.
Just we'll have to get a bit better at using Zoom so we can do what you've been doing there. I think that would help.
Yeah, I think if you practice at home, because this sharing screen thing, what I found it was very difficult using the whiteboard. I think you can type onto the whiteboard. Yeah.
Right.
Never tried that one.
Yeah, it's just, you know, you can each try that now if you want, you know, just pull up the whiteboard and then and see what happens. Yeah, but it's like very difficult. I find it, there's probably a tool or something that you can buy, which would actually mean, you know, you could use something equivalent to a pen which
Right.
would, write on the whiteboard.
Okay.
What's this whiteboard? I haven't come across it before. Is that part of Windows?
No, 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 no. Why don't you just click on share screen?
Where
Can you
is
do
it?
that? Can
Oh,
you do
yes.
that?
It's one of the options that comes up. There's
Is
whiteboard.
it?
Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And then,
Oh, yes.
but I mean, if you try to sign your name, I find it really difficult. I mean, some of you guys mightn't, but so you go to the whiteboard.
Oh,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Right, well done.
I've gone.
You are using your mouse to do that, Lisa, I presume?
Yes, I'm
Yes.
afraid.
Yeah, it's not easy.
That's clever.
I've gone.
It's
Can you-
impossible.
Can you type on it? Is that-
How do I get back?
Um,
No.
Well,
That's
well
pretty
done.
good. Don't recognize your writing now.
are you back?
No. I'm gone.
Oh, you've probably clicked on share screen and
No, I
then,
think I clicked on going back. I have a lack of things to click on. I made a
what
mistake.
exactly are you using, Joan? Are you using a tablet or
A computer.
like a
Laptop.
PC?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh dear, I made a mess of it.
No,
How do
it
I
happened because we can see you and we can hear you.
really? I can
Yeah.
see.
So
Oh,
I
wait a
think
minute.
you need to.
Getting started with Zoom. How do I join the meeting?
Well,
Well,
you
you-
join the
Oh, well,
meeting.
You don't need to.
No, sorry. Okay. Sometimes you can make a mistake and then you get thrown out or you just can't do anything. And
That's
it's worthwhile to just leave the meeting and then try and join the meeting again. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I've got some options.
Minimized.
Getting started with Zoom. How do I join a meeting? Or I can't join my meeting. That's me, isn't it?
No.
Right.
I think, Joan, it sounds like you've just minimized the interactive part of Zoom. So have a look down in your bottom there. See if you can click on the Zoom icon on the bottom of your screen. Just click on it. It's blue.
Well,
like
what
a
does
blue
the
camera.
Zoom icon look like?
It's a little blue video camera.
A blue video camera.
White on a
Oh,
blue background.
I'm going to
Some
risk
people call
it.
it the hot water bottle.
Ah, thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, we can all see you perfectly, Joan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great,
So,
right? Okay, just carry on then.
yeah.
The big thing that we have found, and we played with it a lot for Music for Pleasure, words like you were showing us there, Robert, from whatever you were clicking on, it's all blocked out. It's not easily readable. And we found that, for example, if you trying to show somebody a playlist using Windows Media Player, people can't read it when you share the screen. So the idea is to convert it into a Word document or PowerPoint and put that on the screen, and then it is much easier. It is readable.
Yeah. Would you do me a favor, Mike? Because all I'm seeing is what I'm sharing, so it looks perfectly good to me.
Yes,
So
it does.
would you mind just doing that, please? So I can, share your screen, try and share something, and then I'll see what you're talking about, please.
I mean, what you're seeing probably depends on how much bandwidth you have. The better your broadband connection, you could well get a higher resolution picture. That
Right.
could be part of the problem.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
But we found that
When I was looking at what Robert was showing, it was perfectly clear, so there was no problems from my end. I could read the wording and everything. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so I mean, is somebody prepared to share a screen with me?
yeah, I'm just trying to get something that,
All right.
right, try this,
Oh, good. We're back.
try this.
Oh,
you haven't shared. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Now, I would assume,
Gone.
what is talking me about a problem with Windows 7.
All right.
Has it gone blank?
It's gone
Okay.
blank.
I was just going to join a meeting, but
I'm
it's
just going
gone.
to stop that share because something went wrong with
Yeah.
Windows. I'm on Windows 7. What I've
Right.
got here is the BBC homepage.
Uh-huh.
So if I try and share that. Oh no, it's chucked it off when I try to share it.
All right. Well, look, I tell you what,
I
just
don't know
this,
what this, I'm going to put an email on. I don't know what it is, so it could be confidential, so I hope you can't read it. No, it's not.
no, that's perfectly,
can
that's
see it,
great for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you read that?
Yeah, I can
That's
read it.
readable
perfect.
for me.
Yeah.
Yes, I can read it. I can read it all.
Yeah.
That's
well-
strange. That's, I mean, that's, well, let me
Well,
check for the, and you've got to stop sharing to put something else on. That's the trouble. Let me just go and put a Windows Media Player up with a bit of music or something. It's like the letter B would have the B blocked up. The letter D would have the D blocked up. You know how it,
All right.
I'm just trying to find a piece of music. Right, let's see if you can read that.
Yeah, you can see that.
Yeah, yeah, it's, I mean, it's a little bit small, but yeah, I can read that.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, that's strange.
Maria from West Side Story,
Yeah, yeah. There's no
WWMA.
blocking. I don't know what it is then. I don't know. That's just coming off what we call it, Windows Explorer, you know.
Uh-huh.
But if you try and put it into Media Player, it tends not to be as legible.
Uh-huh.
I don't understand it.
All right.
But we find that sometimes the writing, when you put the thing about the sea slug and what have you, pictures, you can make them out. But the wording, totally illegible as far as I was concerned.
All right. Yeah.
But when you were reading it, that was helpful.
Uh-huh.
The words, and you had the cursor going along, and that you could read the word as you said it, because you could, I don't know, it's all part of the brain, isn't it?
Right.
It's a bit like if you have a word, as long as the first and last letters are correct, you can jumble the rest up and the brain will tell you what the word is.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay. I was just going to say that you can set it up so that you can have people sharing the whiteboard, you know, so one person is right and then the other person can add to it.
Oh,
Right.
that's clever.
Potential for chaos, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's I made a note of it. I couldn't get the hang of it, but there's something called Jamboard. You know, I'll type that in.
Oh, that one.
So, you know, maybe that is something that you can use, but I think there may be a piece of hardware that you can get, and then the hardware will, you know, allow you. It's sort of like a pen in a tablet of some sort, and then you can actually, you know, use that to input. You know, like as I say, and I was finding the mouse very awkward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right. So I guess we've run our course. Yeah. Unless
Yeah.
anybody else wants to, you know, talk about something for a few minutes. I mean, Gordon, you could talk about life in Kenya or, you know, the sort of projects you were working on, but I'll save that till next month.
I think I'll save that. I don't think I'll bore you with all the details, but
Uh-huh.
I did. I was doing quite a few interesting jobs, and I
It'd
mean,
be interesting to hear that, to compare it with what I found when I was working in Swaziland.
Uh-huh.
oh, you worked in Swaziland, okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was over in Gabon for 3 years, which is the other side of the equator. And I went to Kenya and you know, for like a safari thing, and I loved it. I thought you must, you know, you must have had a great time there. If you like animals, and you know,
Oh, yeah.
it's the
Oh.
#1 place in the world, I would say.
No, we thoroughly enjoyed living there, and in fact, of all the places we lived in Kenya, we loved Mombasa probably the best.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, but I say we went back to Nairobi. We've got 3 children that were all brought up in Kenya, went to school in Kenya, and then came back to various universities in England, and then they've moved abroad. So I've now got a son living in Texas, in Houston. I've got a daughter living in Malmo, in Sweden, and I've got another daughter living down in Sutton Coldfield. So the family's
Right.
spread out a bit.
Yeah. Well, it's probably gets in the blood, you know. It's like if your parents were like travelers, then you're probably going to be a traveler as well. Yeah.
I would think so.
I think I'm going to have to leave you. I've got somebody coming to pick their accounts up from Bishop Auckland in District U3A.
All right.
They're due to be here in the next couple of minutes. Whether they arrive or not, I don't know. I'll
So-
leave you now, though. But thanks for that, Robert.
Before
All
you
right,
go-
then
before
stay
you go,
safe.
Mike,
See you next time.
Can
Bye,
I-
everyone.
before you go, just 1 minute.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can I just clarify again about we're paying you some money to help with the Zoom cost, so I've got to send you a check.
Yes, right.
Any
That would be very
particular-
wonderful. Yes, sorry.
How much should we send you?
Well, we're asking for a donation of £3, but I mean, it's a donation as opposed to a levy,
Right. Okay.
so it's not a fixed sum of money. But what we're saying is that if you're sending it by check to me, clearly it'll have your name on it, so there's no problem. But if
Right.
you do it online, then it would be helpful to have the name in the reference area and the in banking, so that when I see it on the bank statement, I can see who is making the contribution.
No, I'll send a little covering letter with it as well.
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks, Gordon. That's,
Right. Yeah. So sorry, Gordon. I was going to say that it's like £3 a year. It's not £3 a month.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's just, yes. I mean, the license is an annual license.
Right.
And whether or not we take it up for the following year is will not be decided till, I don't know, September, or August next year. But I suspect, even if we get back to Pink Lane, we will continue with Zoom.
Mm.
Yeah. I suspect that would also be the case. It'd be quite, quite good, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can visualize people that can't get into Pink Lane, alternatively, also people that do not wish to go into Pink Lane could be involved in a meeting within Pink Lane by us zooming the meeting to them.
Right. Just before you go, Mike, I was going to say, if we can make a success of this, then we're going to offer it on a regional level. And then
Well,
if
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Mo's IT group is.
uh-huh.
Indeed, Catherine's astronomy group is national. We
Uh-huh.
get people from the far end of the country in the virtual U3A group joining us.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I set up all the Newcastle meetings because the license is in my name, and then just hand the hosting over to whoever is running the meeting. So, in practical terms, for Catherine's meeting, I send her the link, and she sends it to her group.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So, I mean, it's one of these things. We're working it out as we go along.
Yeah.
Right, right.
I mean, I have a feeling that there's going to be a good few of our members, even when this virus seems to have gone away, they'll still feel very nervous about going into town and going to Pink Lane.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it sort of stands to reason. Why am I going to sit in a room and share the air with you for 2 hours?
Yeah.
Why am I going to do that? Yeah.
I think one of the comments, Janet will know more about this from the survey, but one of the comments is, I'm not coming into town on the metro. No way am I going to get on the metro.
Uh-huh.
So it's not just Pink Lane, it's getting there that's a problem.
Right.
No, I think, I mean, at the moment, we've got several groups. Janet's going to start with Good Reader using Zoom. We're doing Music for Pleasure, Astronomy, Sunday Lunch Group.
Mm-hmm.
The discussion group, I think, uses Zoom,
Right.
but it's not necessarily the Newcastle Zoom license. Like yourself, Robert, you know, you've got a license. Mo has a license.
Right.
So that's how the IT group is run. It's Mo's license.
Uh-huh.
But you can hand the hosting over. The licensee has to start the meeting up, but you can hand the hosting over and then the licensee can move off that meeting.
Right. But then I think it's very generous of you because it pins you down. You know, you've got to be around to set up every meeting. Yeah.
Oh, but that's not a problem. You're not allowed out anyway.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's working all right at the moment.
Uh-huh.
The way I'm doing it is on a Saturday, I set up the meetings for the following week.
Right.
And send Catherine the link so she can pass it on, or I send the link out myself if it's one of my groups.
Mhm.
So far, so good. But then we're only a couple of months in.
Right. Well, I think we're going to have plenty of practice.
Yeah.
Too true.
Yeah.
Anyway, I must go in case this lady turns up.
Okay,
It
thanks.
needs a set of account signed by me. So we'll see you next time. Thanks very much, Robert. Cheers.
All right then.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Mike.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, come on.
Right.
And Janet, you say you're recovering from having the virus.
Yes, yes, I had it in the last couple of weeks.
Oh,
I
Lisa,
got it on the
sorry.
5th of October.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
fully recovered.
Yeah, the only residual is that food still tastes a bit strange.
Right.
That was the most unpleasant side effect, was everything tasted unpleasant. I just couldn't find anything to eat or drink that was tasty and nice. Just even simple things like some porridge tasted horrible, cup of tea tasted horrible. So I was really quite miserable because I couldn't enjoy any of my meals.
Right.
But as well, I think it affected my brain a bit. I was very fuzzy headed. You know, I was dropping things and forgetting where I'd left things, and just generally a bit foggy brained. But now I've been out. Hooray! I went out this morning. Oh, so sick of being inside. So I walked the dog in the rain, and I didn't care. And we both got wet and muddy, and we had a great time. And I'm going out again shortly because I need to pick up my car. Took it for its MOT. So that was in the queue of things to do before I got it. So yeah, it was annoying and unpleasant and a bit unusual. But certainly I've been lucky and it hasn't affected me in any lasting way.
No, well, that's good at least, and hopefully you've built up some good immunity to it, so you'll be safer for the future.
Well, that's true, and I volunteered to share my antibodies, but apparently I'm probably not suitable because, one, I am not a fat bloke,
No.
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 Hang
Oh,
on. Oh,
apparently-
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no, apparently these are the criteria for success. One is that you were hospitalized with it,
Right.
and the
Right.
other is that you're a big fat bloke so that they can find your veins easily.
Oh.
All right.
Oh well.
I was in hospital and I'm not hospitalized. I'm not a fat bloke, so the chances are they're not going to bother with my antibodies. They're just not
Oh,
up to
well.
scratch, apparently.
Well, if that's what their attitude is, don't bother about it.
Sure.
Stick it, you can stick it. So yeah, I have volunteered though to share them.
All right.
But of course, it just affects everybody differently, doesn't it? It's an
Yeah.
unpredictable outcome when you get it. But for me, I didn't know that I had it because the symptoms that it describes, which is the loss of taste, the fever, and the cough, I did not get those till I was 3 days in.
Yeah.
My first symptom was I thought I'd got had a salad for lunch, and I thought there's a little bit of salad or something stuck in my throat. How annoying. And so for a couple of hours on the Monday, I just thought, oh, that's so annoying, that little
Right.
scratchy throat. And then I thought, oh, I'm clearing my throat a lot. Does that constitute a persistent cough? Well, I don't know, probably not, but I'll just get tested. Just to be on the safe side. And I tested and I was positive. But I didn't get the positive result until the Wednesday. So I was infectious on Monday and Tuesday, not knowing. However, I did have the wherewithal to isolate just in case.
Right.
So I didn't meet anybody on Monday afternoon or on Tuesday or since then.
Right.
So my personal R number, I believe, is 0.
I mean, don't forget that you could have been infectious for several days before you had any symptoms at all.
Yeah.
I know, but you can't possibly know that.
Oh no.
You just can't know it. So you can't do anything about that at all. I've looked back and thought, when did I start to feel ill? No, I felt absolutely fine until about 3 o'clock on Monday afternoon. So I probably had it on Friday, maybe Thursday the previous week, but I could not have known that.
I should say, there's nothing at all you can do.
No.
But there you've got a president across the other side of the Atlantic, and he's going around Florida saying he wants to kiss everybody, men and women. He's never felt better.
Yeah. Well, it would be nice to think that the tracking and tracing system was functional, but it's clearly dysfunctional. Clearly, as soon as I got my positive result, I contacted everybody that I'd met from the previous Friday,
Right.
And whether I'd even just passed them in the corridor, I contacted all of them. And it was the following Friday that testing and tracing contacted me and said, can you tell us now who you interacted with? So that was a full 7 days probably that I could have been walking around without people knowing. If I'd been too ill or not had the wherewithal to contact those people myself, they would have all been walking around with it as well.
And how did you remember?
As it goes,
How did you remember?
nobody was positive. But the testing and tracing, this is the thing that will need to be changed in order for us to come out of this. It's not about students, it's not about going to the pub, it's about testing and tracing. You need a test, you need the results within an hour. In Italy, you can have a test and get a result in an hour. And by the end of 2 hours, you've found everybody you've been in touch with and they've all been warned. In the UK, it's 7 days for that process start to finish. So it's pointless, completely pointless. Then they rang me again the following Sunday and said, can you tell us who you've been in touch with? And I said, well, I emailed you, I texted you, and I told you over the phone. Oh, she said, I don't have a record of that.
Goodness me.
So they actually lost all the information. So as I say, if I'd been very ill or not had the resilience to be able to take charge of the situation, all those people I came in touch with would have not known that they were potentially contagious. And if mine's a typical example, this is where we need to focus our efforts.
Yeah.
It's not about wearing masks or not going to the pub. It's about that.
Mm.
That's how China got out of it. That's how Italy have got out of it. You get a test, within an hour you get a result. And if it's positive, you go nowhere. You're basically locked in and that's it. But if it's negative, then you go back to work and you crack on. You don't have, you know, great lumps of industry who have to all isolate just in case, because you know if you've got it or you haven't.
Yeah.
But in this country, we just haven't got that. And it's my understanding that the whole thing, it's very contentious how it was put out to tender, this work, wasn't it? It's cronyism by the sound of it.
Yeah.
Well, the trouble is that a lot of it wasn't put out to tender. It was just
Exactly, it was just handed to some chums, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Handed to some chums. Here's a contract for 2 billion or something. Get that sorted. And there's been no accountability at all.
Mm.
So yeah,
I've also heard that people who have been contacted then have been contacted another 10 or 20 times.
Oh.
And to me, that reeks of someone just ticking the boxes rather than finding a new contact. They just
That would not
recontact
surprise
old
me at all.
contacts and
That would not surprise me.
tick boxes.
When they called me from the track and trace, they left a garbled message on my answer phone. I wish I could just play it to you, because there was zero chance for me to understand a word she said, except that it had a very threatening tone. You must pick up the phone when we call again.
Oh.
And I thought, if I was extremely ill and in bed and my phone was not next to me, that is nasty to do it that way, to threaten me that I have to pick up the phone. And when I did pick up the phone, she just had no clue. Poor dear well-meaning lady, no doubt. She just had no clue. Oh, well, have you done it online? Yes, I have. Have you done it by text? Yes, I have. Well, why haven't I got it? Well, I don't know why you haven't got that information. But all the people I've been in touch with, even passing, in the last 5 days, they've all been contacted personally by me, actually. Oh, well, that's great. But they had no clue. They didn't have that written down anywhere. So this is the big thing that needs to be fixed if we're ever to come out of this. Because that system could work and it could stop the spread if it works, but it doesn't. Not in my experience anyway.
So the system you talk about is the national system, not the NHS system.
No, it's the government system. The government bought it, as I understood. They bought this test and trace system, which has been called the NHS test and trace, but it's not the NHS. They didn't purchase it. The government purchased it.
Right.
So it's actually a separate entity altogether for the NHS. It's a separate entity.
There was a thing though that, you know, it was being run on Excel, which cost £186, right? And then they were doing it by columns instead of rows, you know? And Excel's a spreadsheet, it's not a database, right? So, but what happened was that they go so wide, and that was the limit on Excel. So then the system crashed. You couldn't put any more information in because you couldn't make the spreadsheet any wider, you know? And I mean, people are being paid some like £6,700 a day to work on the thing.
And that's just basic common sense, isn't it?
Yeah.
You could have given this project to a couple of 16-year-old GCSE maths students, and they could come up with something better.
Yeah.
Really, they could. It's absolutely hopeless. And you know, I lived in Italy, and in Italy they're complete chaos, that country, when it comes to admin, absolute chaos. And yet, when I fly there in a fortnight, I will land. They will test me on arrival. They will give me my results within an hour, and then off I go.
I think it's within 15 minutes.
You can't even get a test unless you've got symptoms. So if I'd said I might need a test, no, I don't really have symptoms. No, would have been a couple more days before I'd said I've got the symptoms you list there.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to have a test unless you've got symptoms. And then my employers asked, do you have to have a negative test before you come back to work? And I checked. no, I'm not allowed to take another COVID test now for 90 days in
Good.
case I give a false positive.
That's crazy.
I know. So I'm going back to work with no guarantee that I'm now negative and not dropping live virus.
Mm.
I have no idea if I am.
Mhm.
So, and I'm not allowed another test.
That's
So
ridiculous.
it is. So when everybody's grizzling about students and neighbours having children's parties, they're not the problem. They're not. The problem is this.
I mean, I don't think for a second that students down south who go to university in the south behave any differently from students who go to university in the north. That's got to be complete rubbish.
Uh-huh.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm negative now, except that the chances are I am not. But there we are. And it doesn't tell you anything about cleaning your environment. As much as I've looked for help on that, there's nothing. So I don't know if I needed to disinfect everywhere, but I did anyway. I bought some disinfectant for the washing machine. I've washed all my bedding. I've washed curtains. I've washed clothes, everything. I've steam cleaned the place top to bottom. I've gone everywhere with a fine toothbrush, and I've got antibac spray and wipes and everything. I don't know if I needed to do that, but I've done it anyway. But suppose I do need to do it. They haven't said that people need to do that before you go back to work, that you need to really give your house and your environment a deep clean wherever you've been quarantined. That hasn't been discussed at all. But it would seem logical to me to do that. But I think that's where our key issue lies, the terrible, hopeless admin about tracing people and warning them to stay indoors. We're never going to catch a hold of this until that's tidied up. That would be my thoughts anyway. But the good news is it's rather nasty, but it certainly wasn't. I didn't have any difficulty breathing. I didn't have any really debilitating symptoms. It was just a nuisance. And it was very lonely because I couldn't see or interact with another human being for almost 2 weeks because I live alone. So I wasn't isolating with anyone. There was just me driving myself crazy for 2 weeks.
I mean, the
That
other
was the
snag
best.
is that in the spring, we were helped by the fact that the weather was getting warmer.
Yes.
So the weather was playing along with trying to kill the infections.
Yeah.
Now we're on the uphill bit, and it's going to be a lot more difficult this autumn to get those numbers back down again, I think.
Yeah, people will sort of tend to stay indoors more, right? And then the indoors, the humidity is going to be lower because of the central heating and something like that, So it's and also more proximity to people, so it's not good. Yeah.
And when you're talking about aerosols in the air, of course, they're trapped within the room and just going to float around there for a day or two anyway, isn't it?
Sure.
Yeah.
But then you see there's this whole issue about, if you're getting onto the metro or you're getting onto an aeroplane, it's like you're going to be sharing the air for hours and hours and hours, and they don't have anything on the planes to clean the air.
No.
Yeah.
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 Okay, gang. Well, I had better go because I need to collect my car from the garage before 4 o'clock.
Right.
Right.
It has passed its MOT, so that's hurrah,
good.
isn't it? At least I can
Right.
walk out loads of dosh.
So,
All right.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah,
get these
Lisa.
minutes
So
typed.
right, I'll send you a few emails, and then. Oh, by the way, yeah, I don't want to keep you, Lisa, but in terms of the quantum mechanics, I think there's an article that I'm going to forward which debunks the whole thing. This whole idea that you can't know the velocity and the position of an electron at the same time. Well, I think it undermines that,
Right.
right? So then, it's like we could have wasted the whole 2 years because we were wrong all along.
So
All right.
Mr.
Honestly, you
Heisenberg,
just get your head around something, don't you?
Yeah, you just, yeah, that's it. Life's a bitch. Yeah, and then you die. All right.
And you die.
Yeah.
Okay, darling. So I'll type up the minutes and I'll include any links you send me, Robert.
All right.
try
I'll
and do
get
that.
those off today. Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
All
honey.
right. All right.
See you,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Right. So, yeah. So I think that's good. I guess just hold on. Anybody got a calendar to hand?
I've got a diary.
Yeah. No, it's just when's the next meeting going to be? I think
The
it'll
21st of November.
21st of November, and then what's the one in December?
Ah. It would be the 18th.
18th of December. Yeah, we all happy with that?
Yeah?
It's not too close to Christmas.
No.
No.
I think with things as they are, that's far too much, far away to make definite plans anyway.
Right. Yeah.
You know, things can change so much in a few days, let alone a couple of months.
Well, I think you're an optimist actually, because when they said, you know, that we had the lockdown back in March, and they said 3 months, and when they said 3 months, I said, oh yeah, you know, that probably means 6 months, which probably means 9 months, you know, and I guess they wouldn't say 9 months to begin with because nobody would wear it. But I mean, I can't see it until at least the end of next year.
I hope you're wrong, Robert, because if you do get some, well, they've got some treatments that they're testing at the moment, and they've also got, there's about 11 vaccines I was reading somewhere around the world. If you get some of these some of the vaccines are being used at the moment. So if they prove to be useful, hopefully we'll start seeing them coming out more and more in the next few months. So.
Yeah. Well,
Can I say something about the vaccines? There's a number of diseases in the veterinary world which caused by coronaviruses, and none of these have got successful vaccines, and they've been researched on for many years. There was social protection, the ones that have been tried.
Yeah. Well, there was something last week maybe where they killed something like 10,000 mink in the state of Utah because the virus had got into the mink.
Oh, I had that one.
Yeah. And then there was some in Holland. There were mink getting killed in Holland because the virus was, so it's kind of, and then there's all this other thing about it getting into the dogs and cats. So, whatever that receptor is that the virus is looking for, there's plenty of it about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But presumably, if it can get into animals, it can then optimize itself for those animals, and then it could come back in a modified form and reinfect humans again.
Of course. Well, you see, I mean, my understanding is it came out of pangolins in the first place, right? Some people are saying bats, some people are saying pangolins, but the problem is that people are coming into contact with these animals that they should never come in contact with. In the wild, yeah? What would a pangolin be doing? It would be staying well away from us, right? And that happened with SARS. That was a civet down down one of these live animal markets in China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Yeah. Anyway, let's hope.
I mean, I don't know if I assume they've never managed to track down the COVID-19 to a patient zero somewhere in Wuhan, have they? As far as I know, I never heard about it. They have.
Well, I think, I mean, if you go back, so, slightly, changing the subject here, but, AIDS possibly came out of the monkeys in Africa. And I did read somewhere that there was a sailor who died in Liverpool, maybe back in 56, and they never, you know, they couldn't, you know, understand what he died of. So they kept these vital organs, stored them in paraffin. And then when the AIDS, you know, sort of got into the general population, to check the vital organs, and sure enough, it was AIDS. So it, but you know, but as I say, the AIDS is coming out of the monkeys that you shouldn't be having anything to do with, you know. So you've had the, you know, the monkeys, you've had the civets, you've had the pangolins or the bats, yeah. And I think more and more of these things are going to happen because, you know, we're leaving nature like less and less space.
Mm.
Yeah, but because they've been used as foodstuffs, that's the problem. People were in Africa were eating monkeys, and they were eating anything that sort of moved. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're butchering them, and there's bits and droplets flying everywhere, presumably.
Sure. But I mean, it's interesting, you see, because I think I'd read somewhere that like at any given time, you've probably gotten 10 or 11 viruses trying to go to work on you, but they're not because you're immune to them or there's no effect. And then if you look at, say, squirrels, well, you know, somebody brought these gray squirrels in from America, and then they're much bigger than our local red squirrel, right? So they can outmuscle them, but that's not really a problem because the red squirrels stay in the trees. The gray squirrels come, you know, they're ground feeders. But the real problem is that the gray squirrels have got this squirrel pox, which they're immune to. But it kills the red squirrels.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so it's kind of like species can become immune to a virus, but they can be spreaders or they can be super spreaders. Yeah.
Mm. Depressing.
Right. So what's the good news? I mean, you know, it's best to look on the bright side or whatever. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I would say thank you, Robert, for all the lessons in how to use Zoom. That's given me a bit more confidence.
Right.
And maybe I'll try and put together something for our next meeting.
Yeah.
But I'll send you, if I do manage to do anything, I'll try and send it in advance. I wouldn't want to hog the meeting by any means, but maybe I can put 5 minutes together or something.
Sure. No, I mean, it's just like on a personal thing, you know, you might just want to do like a geography talk, you know, say this is where I was in Canada, in Kenya, and this is what I did. Or you might say, look, these are the mechanical projects that I worked on. Yeah. You know, sort of, you know, as a science project rather than as like that. But I think we can all do that, you know, play around with Zoom just so that you get better at doing things, you know. I mean, it might be that rather than trying to use the whiteboard, you can do it as a sort of like a PDF file or something, and then share the PDF file. Yeah.
I think the whiteboard should be reserved for the interactive stuff, trying to answer questions, but any presentation, you'd be far better to prepare it in advance, as you say, as PDFs or PowerPoint or something.
Yeah. Well, just before you all go, you could pull up your share screen, you know, share the screen and then pull up the whiteboard. And there is like a T, which is text. So you can actually put text into the whiteboard, right? Why don't you just all have a go at that? Yeah.
I don't know if we can all share our screen at once, mind.
No, but I mean, you can just do it.
It says you cannot share the screen while the other participant is sharing. So it's only one person at a time, yeah. All
right, can you see that?
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah, so you can actually do that. And then let's have a look. All right, so you know, you just have a look at that, and then there's the eraser, so you can erase it. All right. Anyway, I mean, you know, it's why don't you?
You're all done now. Yeah. Oh no, you're back.
The next thing to investigate is whether you can actually play with the whiteboard when you're just having a meeting with yourself. So you don't, you know, it's only your time that you're using.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure you can. And I think you can actually, there must be a way of saving the whiteboard. You know what I mean? So it's like if you came up with 3 sheets or something like that, then you can go and do your talk and then go through the whiteboard. Yeah.
I would have thought so. Yeah. I mean, today I just came across for the first time the fact you can save the chat from a meeting. I hadn't realised you could do that before, but
All right. Yeah.
where is it? Hang on, chat. Oh, where is that?
So the bottom here.
I can't find it now, but it's somewhere before. Oh, down the bottom, I've got a folder called File, and with 3 dots next to it.
Yeah.
And the option is to save chat. Where it goes to, I don't know, but it's there.
Oh, I mean, this is probably the part of the problem that,
Yes.
you know, we're all on different platforms. So
True.
hang on.
But
Security.
the thing is, without knowing what's possible, you don't know what you don't know. If you
Exactly.
see what I mean?
Exactly.
Exactly.
No, I can't see anything like that. Yeah. All right.
I mean, I haven't even got the full screen at the moment.
Yeah.
Ah, right.
So.
I have now got a folder in Zoom, then 2010, 16, blah, 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 Science Roundtable. Inside that, I've got meeting saved chat.txt.
Oh, great. But how did you get that? Did you have that all the time? This file thing?
I wouldn't imagine so, because I've been in lots of other Zoom meetings and there's only one file. Oh, hang on, let's go back at one there. No, there's only one.
Yeah. No. It's, so, yeah, what you do is you go to the chat, all right? Yeah. And then I think what you've got is like, so you go to the chat. Oh, hang on.
Down the bottom, there's a.
Yeah, and then it's like the 3 dots.
There's a file thing, and there's 3 dots.
Yeah, and then it says save the chat.
Save the chat, yeah.
Yeah. But, okay. So let's just do
But
that.
I've never yet tried to record a meeting. I don't know where that ends up, but
I think what happens with that is that like at the end of the, you know, when you finish the recording, it'll come back and it'll tell you, yeah.